So next week, my Heritage colleague Ben Lieberman and I are going to be in Copenhagen, Denmark for the second week of the Copenhagen Climate Change Conference, when they're supposed to be hammering out the final deal, when President Obama is supposed to be there on the final day of the conference, December 18th. So in the lead up to this trip, where we'll be monitoring what's going on in Copenhagen, I wanted to write a paper about what the potential implications for American sovereignty are at stake in Copenhagen and beyond. And the reason why American sovereignty is at stake here is that the treaty that's being contemplated, the framework agreement that's being contemplated in Copenhagen, will create a brand new international bureaucracy, one that is not going to be transparent or accountable. And that bureaucracy is going to be in charge of implementing these very new stringent climate obligations on the United States. And most importantly, they will be the organs who will make the final determinations about whether the United States is in compliance with its treaty obligations. You see, under normal circumstances, the United States would review its own record and decide on its own whether or not it's met its treaty obligations. But this won't be the case here, because there will be this new secretariat with compliance and enforcement committees who will render judgments about whether the United States has met its greenhouse gas reduction goals, whether it has transferred enough money to the developing world, and whether it has shared enough of its climate, its green climate technology with the developing world. So the treaty that's being contemplated along these lines takes away a lot of the decision-making powers of our government. It won't be the people who decide, or the president or Congress, but a group of bureaucrats sitting over in Bonn, Germany, or in some other European capital. And this treaty is unlike other treaties where we can ratify it based on certain conditions known as reservations, understandings, and declarations. The treaty that's being contemplated just doesn't lend itself to those types of conditions, because we'll be making commitments for GHG emissions, for money, and for technology. And no matter what conditions happen in the future, let's say the economy continues to decline, let's say they completely debunk global warming science, it won't matter, because we've signed on to and ratified a treaty that turns over our decision-making powers to an unaccountable, opaque, non-transparent, sometimes corrupt UN bureaucracy. And once we sign that away, it's going to be very tough to get it back. And so I hope you'll read my paper about the implications for American sovereignty at the Copenhagen Climate Change Conference and enjoy it.